What's up, guys? Welcome back to ManCave Collectible Reviews, coming at you this week with another figure review. It has been some time. Unfortunately, I am out right now. I had some knee surgery here in the past couple weeks and have not been able to get out and do my normal toy hunt, so I was hoping to do. So over the next few weeks, get in here and do some reviews that we've really been trying to get out on the channel. I want to kick that off with a figure that is getting a ton of praise out there right now. There's a lot of reviews already done on it, but I wanted to do one here on the channel for those of you who support ManCave Collectible Reviews. We're going to start off with the Mezco 112 Collective Wolverine Deluxe figure. Comes in this steel can. You can hear that steel can. It is a beautiful presentation here. Got some fantastic artwork here on the front. X-Men logo up top. Got some Wolverine. I mean, everything you want here. It's got the blue outlining on the sides here. Additional X-Men logoing here on the side along with MezcoToyz. Flipping around here to the back, we got some additional artwork. Got some nice claw rips through the back here. Looks really, really nice. Mezco hitting it with a little more of that branding. And then up here on the top, we do have some more Wolverine artwork. And on the opposite end, additional X-Men logoing. Really, really nice presentation. I love these steel containers that they put these into, these metal containers. The Christopher Reeve Superman had a round one that was very, very nice. You could easily display it on a shelf. This is the same. I think it would be a really cool look to have your Wolverine displayed in front of this just because of how cool it looks. Now, to pop this thing open, you just pop that open and it reveals your figure inside. So there you can kind of see what we've got. We'll kind of break away here for just a moment and go ahead and get all of this out so we can go through each one of these accessories. But you can see this guy is just slam packed with accessories. We do have a little bit of light up features there as far as with the Sentinel and all. It kind of shows you how to do the claw effects and stuff. So real nice little diagram here for you to kind of explain what's going on with some of the accessories. But even this just looks so phenomenal. The way they've got, I mean, look at all these heads. We're going to go through all these so you guys can see what all it comes with. So if you can't already tell it in my voice, I'm super excited about this figure. Probably my favorite character in the Marvel Universe being Wolverine, and I think Mezco's really hit a home run. I can almost say that. I've watched so many reviews of this already. I can almost say that without even doing my own review. But we're going to chop it up. We're going to see what's going on with it. We're going to go through all these accessories, all these additional heads, and just really see what Mezco has brought to the table here. I was so excited about this figure. I actually purchased two of these by accident. Purchased them from two different places and ended up forgetting, didn't cancel one when the other filled, and ended up with two of them. So now I have two. If you're interested in one, there's a link down in the description to Entertainment Earth. If you go click on that, you can go purchase your own. Let's jump right into this guy. So as you can see here, we have Wolverine out and looking absolutely phenomenal, guys. I really, really can tell you that. Now, I've not gotten into doing a lot of the articulating yet. We'll see how that goes. But as far as the look of this guy, he looks phenomenal. They did a fantastic job on fitting the soft goods. If you're not familiar with Mezco, that's their big thing. They do a lot of soft goods. The shirt, the pants, everything is soft goods. And it really, really fits him well. In fact, I'll show my Christopher Reeves here in a little while. And one of the issues I had was in this thigh area, you could really see there was a thigh cut in there, and you could really see that. And I'll show that a little bit later in the video. Wolverine doesn't have that problem. They fixed that here. And it's just a really nice, smooth transition from the pelvic area all the way down the leg to the boot. It looks really, really good. I'm sure you guys can see that very clearly here on camera. So we're going to go ahead and start running through the accessories that this guy's offers. And there's a whole bunch of them. So stay tuned. So we have all types of translucent plastic slashing effects. So these effects they're really cool. They have little holes here in them that the claws will go into, and you can really just give off that slashing effect, like the wind is, whooshing by there with the claws. There is 4 in total. This is probably my favorite one here. Kind of gives the look or the impression that he's hit something and kind of throwing those claws around at the same time. And then lastly, you got one that's a nice big curvature there. These are pretty jagged, but it is hard. It's hard plastic, however, they would break. So you got to be very careful, I would say, with these. As far as just making sure they don't get caught on something, that plastic would break off. It is not soft plastic. It is certainly a hard plastic. I would say even if you dropped it on the ground, you probably would risk chipping or breaking one of these off. All right, and then we get kind of a more traditional looking belt here for him. It does not have the X logo on it. It's just a red belt with the buckle there. You can see he does have his X-Men belt on straight out of packaging. But this belt looks really good. It's got a couple of pouches there, really nicely painted. Can see there it does have a little bit of brown paint there on the pouch. on with the red. We'll take a look at what this looks like in comparison to that one. Now, one really cool thing that they did was they gave you an X logo for this belt. So that one has a kind of a circular X logo. This one you have the rectangle. This buckle will just pop right off. You can see there in the back, there are 2 peg holes. That'll pop off and you can throw the X logo in there. This is probably what I'm gonna go with, but we'll see. I have to see what all this looks like. In fact, I have 2 of them. I've kind of considered doing one in more of that traditional look, one in more of that 90s Jim Lee style, so we'll see. Now, you also get a Sentinel eyeball. So this is really cool as well. I don't know how many times I'm going to say really cool, guys, but it's going to be a lot throughout this review. But it has little small holes in it where you can actually feed his claws. So if you want him to be kind of holding the Sentinel eyeball on one of his claws, you can do so. But really nice, kind of gives off that the eye's kind of been cracked there in the front and ripped out of that Sentinel head. Very cool. All right, we got a slew of hands here. We'll take a look. What he's got on him straight out of packaging are the just regular fist hands, no claws on this one. He also comes with some non-clawed, kind of grabbing, I guess, grabbing hands. Grabby, I would say they're grabby hands. Then you've got a pointing hand, no claws, and another maybe a little firmer grabby hand. This one you probably could almost have him hold the Sentinel eyeball with this one if you want him just to hold it in his hand. All right, then we got kind of a handful of claw options here. You've got really nice silver painted claws there. These are the fist versions. And then you have the open hand versions with claws. These look really nice. And then a super cool touch that Mezco did here, they gave us the bone claws. If you remember back in the 90s, there was a period of time where he had lost his adamantium. There you go. There's the bone claws. I think these look phenomenal. They're really well sculpted to look like bone. They're painted to look like bone. They are on fist hands. All right, let's talk about head sculpts. We got a ton of them. This is the most I've ever seen in one figure by itself. You can see there we have the really traditional Wolverine look there, very reminiscent of that Hulk 181 appearance. We get a very nice non-mask head. Now, I will go ahead and throw this in there. We do have the cowl here, which you can now drape, over the neck peg. So if you wanted to have him unmasked with the mask actually hanging off his back, you can do so. Very cool. This right here looks phenomenal. Look at the paint work, the sculpt work. They absolutely killed this head sculpt right here. Next up, we've got another unmasked head sculpt. This one to me looks a little older and meaner. I really like it. Mezco just absolutely killed the paint work and sculpt work on these. All right, now we'll get into some of that 90s goodness here. Really nice. Look at on kind of the ears of this thing, how it literally has a sculpted look, almost like a leathery look to it. I mean, just some of the best I've seen done on any figure, especially at this price point. Kind of the same cowl look, however, he's got the open screaming mouth. Looks really nice. Same type of sculpt work. Gotta love the big old ears on Wolverine. That is just so Jim Lee 90s. Now here you've got pretty much the same head as what he comes on out of package. However, in this one, very stoic. This one, we've got gritting teeth. So he's got that very angry look to him. Just a really nice head sculpt. Again, Hulk 181 look is what we're seeing here. And then we do also have the stoic 90s version. And last but not least, the battle damage version. So this very, Terminator looking. But, if you read the comics, obviously we've all seen Wolverine. In this type of situation, adamantium showing through, the skin has been removed. And we can see the adamantium skeleton underneath. But yeah, just really nice. Got a little hair poking out here. Really nice chrome paint to that adamantium skeleton. Half of the, ear to the cowl missing over here. Just a phenomenally done head portrait. All right, guys, so continuing to move along in accessories, as you move down in the box to the second layer where we've got like our Sentinel diorama, there is another accessory. This is kind of a multi-slashing effect done in that same hard translucent plastic. So that's just really nice. Again, it's got little holes in here for his claws to go in. You can see those there at that end, excess on the end of each one of those. You can kind of see it there if I put them in the background, but you'll just put those claws through there and do kind of the X logo with his slash marks. As with all Mezcos, you do get a base there. You've got his X base. And then the last thing I want to go over here is the Sentinel diorama. So this is phenomenal. In fact, I've been looking online. So I have 2 of these now because I have 2 Wolverines, but I've been looking online. These are going for about $50 by themselves. So, you know, if this is something you would like to have, maybe you don't necessarily want this Wolverine, or you have the first iteration of the Mezco Wolverine and you just think maybe you'd like to have a Sentinel Dio to go with it, that is an option for you. Folks are selling these individually online right now. So amazing sculpt and paint work. I think probably what you're seeing here, there's not a whole lot I have to say about this. You can see all the details here. There's scratch marks everywhere on this guy. See that eye missing there. Half of his fingers are missing on his hand over here. You know, so he'll be able to, you know, easily, you know, stand on this. You can pose him up. Obviously, I'm not going to do it right now, but, you know, I just wanted you guys to see that. There's kind of the scale of what that is. So it's a pretty big Dio piece that you get in this. So that does attribute, obviously, to the additional cost for this Mezco. Over typical Mezco, you're probably looking at, you know, $90 to $100. This guy a little bit more, and I think it really falls on this as being the leading cause in that. It is a pretty hefty piece of plastic, and it also has light-up features, which we'll take a look at a little bit later. I'll throw the batteries in there and let you guys see. There's a couple areas here that does light up on this guy, so just to add some additional effect, especially if you're a toy photographer, that type of thing. All right, so next let's jump into some size comparison here. So we got Wolverine, we got our Christopher Reeves by Mezco, and then we have our Conan, which is, I think, one of the all-time best Mezco figures that they've ever done. And you can see, I really think they have Wolverine properly sized. He is kind of on a shorter scale, as you can see next to Christopher Reeves, who was a taller guy. I believe if we go back, maybe 6'3", 6'4". So it definitely kind of puts Wolverine in that 5'11"-ish, you know, range as far as his height is concerned. So I think they did a really good job on this. Real quick, while we have Chris Reeves out, you can see here right in the kind of the thigh area, you can see how you can easily see that thigh cut. So that was kind of one of my complaints with the Christopher Reeves Mezco Superman. Overall, I think it was a very good figure. I really like it a lot. But that thigh cut was a little off-putting for me. They fixed that with Wolverine, and you can see we don't have that same issue. So they did a good job on that. Next up, we'll bring out his Marvel Legends counterpart. You can see here I do have some custom claws here on this Wolverine, which are phenomenal. They're actual metal claws that are made for the Marvel Legends. Pretty cool custom work. But you can see he is definitely a bigger figure than your Marvel Legends Wolverine is. Then we got our Marvel Legends Juggernaut, who towers over both. But you can see here that you've got Cyclops. He is slightly shorter, but he's definitely a lot more bulky than like your typical Marvel Legend would be. You could see that by the Wolverine scale beside of him. So could you fit him in? Yes. Would it look super accurate scale-wise? Probably not. For a lot of these guys doing action figure photography, you guys are so good at what you do. I've seen you guys take figures that are way out of scale, put them in a picture with other figures, and it looks perfect. So that's a lot of the magic of photography, I guess you could say. So not super out of scale Marvel Legends, but definitely slightly bulkier, a little bit taller than your typical Wolverine Marvel Legend would be. And then last but not least, you got your Mafex Wolverine, your Mafex Cyclops. He can scale in there again. He's close, much like the Marvel Legends. I just feel like he's a little too bulky. But again, I think he could work if that's what you wanted to do, but just all the way down to like the size of his head and everything is just so much bigger scale than these 6-inch action figure lines are. All right, so you can see here now we do have the bone claws on him, and just looks really, really nice. I really like the way they did that. Got that new cowl on him there, got the traditional one pulled off, but I really like the way these bone claws look. I can remember there was a storyline that Wolverine did with Cyber back in the 90s, and it was always one of my favorite storylines. He had those bone claws. Really, really cool. I'm going to do a little belt swap on this next one, and we'll try out another head as well. All right, so there we've got the metal claws. I've got 2 different hands here. We've got the open hand that he has, and then we've got the fisted hands there with the metal claws. Looking really good. You can see how that looks there with the cowl kind of pulled back on his back there, and then just kind of that stoic non-mask face portrait, which really just looks fantastic on this guy. We did put on the red belt. Now, one thing with the red belt, you kind of want it to come down over the blue trunks there, and I had a hard time really being able to get that down over the blue trunks. and get the peg in. So I don't know if that's just on this one, but if you kind of put it down here where it's supposed to go, you know, down in this area to kind of cover the top part of the trunks, I have a really hard time getting these two to connect. So you kind of have to take it up into the abdomen area and then get the peg in like that and then bring it back down. And when you do that, the belt is not big enough to get it back over the top of the blue trunk. So it kind of sits at the top of that blue trunk, which I think looks too high. So I don't really know how I'm going to get that back down. You can see, especially back here, there's actually a little bit of a gap between the trunk and the belt. So a little bit of a, you know, I wouldn't say that's a major issue, but of a little bit of annoyance maybe with it right now, just for that. And then there you got the damaged head, which is just super cool looking. I think, you know, that along with the damaged Sentinel Dio is just going to be fantastic looking. All right, I was able to get the belt down a little bit further, got the X on there. This is probably the belt that I will go with. To me, it just has more of that 90s vibe, kind of that Jim Lee look to it. So I was able to get down. It was not without frustration, and I'm not 100% sold that it's even going to hold in that position. And if it does, I kind of worry a little bit about that peg in there, kind of long term. But we got it on there. It looks really good. All right, so the next thing I want to do is I want to take a look at our Sentinel Dio. So I was able to pop the batteries in. There's a battery compartment on the bottom of this guy here. There's an on-off switch, and he does have some light-up features. So let's go ahead. We're going to cut off some lights here and take a look at those. All right, so I think that is enough lights off here in the man cave in order for you to see kind of what's going on. He has almost like a short-circuiting eyeball. He also has a light-up chest here, and then his other eye lights up. Now, one cool thing about his chest, it's kind of in the short-circuit mode as well. You can see it brightens up, then it goes out, it brightens up, then it goes out. Really, really nice LEDs in there. I think these are impressive. These are not super dull. The button right here, that is your on-off button. So it appears just to be a part of the sculpting and detail of the Sentinel. It is actually your on-off button. So very easy to get to, very simple to manage. So that's a very, very cool addition. I love these Sentinel Dios here. And, you know, I'm very happy that I have two of them. And I really wouldn't mind having another one or two to go on even like my Marvel Legends shelf, because they are just that beautifully detailed, beautifully painted and sculpted. All right, so the last thing we'll take a look at here is just, we'll just do one of the effects because I just want to kind of show you how this works. But there are 3 peg holes here in the effect itself, and you just line up the claws with that effect, and you kind of get that, you know, that effect of like he's, you know, punching or slashing. It's a really, really nice look. And I really, really can't wait to see additional, you know, action figure photography from some of the, you know, best photographers in the business out there. I follow a lot of you guys on IG. I think it really just opens up a whole world as far as photography is concerned. But there you go. That's kind of what those are going to look like. So guys, that is a quick, somewhat quick overview and review of the Mezco Wolverine, one of my favorite figures of 2022 so far. I could definitely see this guy making it into my top 10 list at the end of this year. If it's something you're interested in picking up, again, there's a link down in the description to Entertainment Earth. They do still have them in stock. I think they're sold out about everywhere else. I think Entertainment Earth still has some in stock. Click that link and go order yours. This is a high recommend for me. No, I didn't hit every single accessory as far as putting them on his body, but there's a ton of reviews out there for that right now. So if you want to see all of them, just start hitting up all the different reviews and you eventually will see all the different accessories used within some review. Let me know your thoughts on this figure. Do you collect Mezco? Love to hear from you guys. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the review. That's it for today, guys. Until next time.